Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Friday 15. So what is the Friday 15, you all ask? Every Friday at 12 p.m. Central Time, we go ahead, we take 15 minutes to answer your questions about the travel industry that you have submitted on our website. If you have questions you'd like to submit, or you'd like to go back and watch previous episodes, hint, hint, Jennifer is on a few of them. Please go to hostagencyreviews.com/Friday15. We bring on many special guests. I'm usually not sat in front of my kitchen for those who watch it on video, but now you get a new view. So it's a new day. It's February 20th. I am excited to introduce our next guest. Granted, if you are a regular here, you absolutely know and love her as much as we do here at HAR. It is Jennifer Dugan from Dugan's Travels. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Good. We've got some good questions for you if you're ready.
Yep, I am.
Beauty. Okay. So question number one is a doozy. How common is it for a host agency to take commission on the planning, consulting, concierge, or essentially any type of fee that I plan to charge? For this question, I'm not asking about a payment processing fee, but rather I'm talking about applying the same commission split to both commission and any fees that I charge. Obviously, this would significantly impact my total profit if I have to give my host agency 20 or 30% of my fees.
Okay, so on this one, I can see both sides on, I can see from the host agency side because I have to process fees for agents. Mm-hmm. So one thing to consider is that it's really hard on the back end to determine what is necessarily a service fee versus a commission, especially with suppliers that allow you to add on that service fee. Right, so say you add on $100 to the booking. It's not like the supplier tells the agency what it is. They pay them the full amount, which is the commission plus whatever you added on, and there's no way of knowing what is what. So for a host agency to figure that out, that can be hard for them, for one thing. And then it's also a blurry line of what is a service fee and what's really commission. Are you just padding the commission? What is it exactly? So of course, more straightforward is what you were talking about having to charge, and then there's a merchant fee, and some hosts will just charge the merchant fee, and then others do just split it like normal. And again, I can see it on both ends. We do it where we have a higher amount that we pay our agents for those kind of charges. If they were charging the credit card $100 for a service fee, and that comes in on our merchant account, those are easier for us to see, but it still takes work on our end because we have to go in and change it in the system for our agents. So if an agent is, say, at 80% and they do that, then we actually do 95%. So we have to go in and change from 80 to 95%, which is a manual process for us and it's time consuming. So I can see why big host agencies, I don't know how they would do that. So it all just depends on their setup, how they can do it. Now on the end for the agent, totally get it. That's why we do it a little differently, because when you are charging the service fee, you don't feel like, hey, that's for my time, and the host agency didn't do anything for it. So I see it on both sides, but I think agents need to maybe talk to their host agency and see why they do it the way they do. And maybe it's not possible for them to do it. Or maybe there are ways that you can do it. Maybe you shouldn't be charging through the supplier, and rather you should be doing a service fee, which there's lots of talk about that. Should you be clearly putting that you're charging a service fee? You're not getting an extra $100 from Carnival or something like that. So things to think about.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's great to give some like what you just did, giving the information about what that actually means for the host from an administration perspective, from a back end perspective. I think that anonymous, for the person who submitted the question, I think that that's really going to help you and everyone listening understand that it's not as simple a process as you would think or as you would hope it would be. The part, Jennifer, I always talk about that you mentioned is ask your host, talk to your host about it, or your potential new host about how this all works. And as a side, in terms of service fees, it's not what we're finding now, especially from our annual report that we just released a few months ago, is it's not about if you're going to charge fees, it's about how you're charging fees, right? So a lot of advisors are understanding the service that they're providing to clients and being very upfront and saying, I have an upfront service fee to put this package together for you and everything like that. That has nothing to do with you adding it on to, the supply, like what you're paying to the supplier or anything of that nature. This is a flat service fee for creating a cruise program for you, or an FIT, or whatever it is that you are creating for your client. So, we'll write an article about fees for you as well, just so that you get some support and some more information around charging fees in general.
Yeah, and one thing to consider is if you're charging it through a supplier and it's something where the cancellation happens and they're recalling the commission, they're going to recall that service fee too. So it's sometimes things to think about. I think it's always good to clearly define what you're charging your clients, so that if that $100 that you want to charge is your planning fee, then when they cancel, you should still keep it because you still planned for them. So things to consider.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. You ready for question 2?
Yes.
Okay. So this is from, I hope I'm saying your name right, Regina. What do you think is the most valuable certification? Travel Institute offers the CTA, CLIA has certifications. We've got the VTA as well as consortiums and hosts. What are the most valuable certifications out there?
Well, the most important thing is what you are going to specialize in, right? If you are going to sell cruises, then CLIA would make sense. But if you are going to sell something different, you want to look at where that certification makes sense for what you want to sell. Mm-hmm. I will tell you, there are so many certification programs out there, which is great, but it also, for agents, it can be overwhelming. I have a few agents that I have to tell them they need to stop just trying to get certified in everything because they're not selling, because all they're doing is taking certification classes and thinking that that's gonna get them where they need to go. It's all well and good to do these kind of things, but you also have to really focus in, or you will be taking them nonstop, because every supplier has a certification course. All these organizations have certification courses. So it's really what you want to do. If you are specializing in something in particular, look for specializations in that.
I completely agree. We're actually going to link our article about different certification options. And our article is very clear to say that these are different options depending on what makes the most sense for you. Yeah. Again, the beauty of being a part of a host is you've got this community of other advisors that can help guide you along with, with your host, which ones you feel like, okay, this program I think is essential for all advisors. This one, if you're going to specialize here or here. I worked for a supplier for many years. We had a specialist program for advisors, but if somebody didn't sell adventure travel, that would be the last program I would be recommending to them. As much as, you want as many advisors to complete the program as possible, it's also, there's a lot of work, a lot of learning, and a lot of things. You don't want it to go in one ear and out the other.
Yes.
Either. And I've now been in the industry for about 15 years. I take trainings and certifications as I realize I need them, or they would be helpful for me for something that I want to build into or that I want to get better at. I didn't take them all at the beginning of my career, right? So those things are still available to you as you kind of grow. So yeah, I completely agree with you, Jennifer. Just, understand what's out there, but absolutely don't consistently be in trainings, or else you're never going to sell anything.
Yes. Yeah, that's definitely a problem that we have, especially for new agents, because it's overwhelming, right? And
it's
they're
exciting.
Like, oh, right. And they go to a webinar and they hear, oh, they have a certification course. Why would I take that? And they just get to the point where they're taking, that's all they're doing. And they don't have time for the business part of it. So just know that they'll all be there. And as things change for you, you can always change what certifications you take.
Yep. Oh, great advice. Fantastic. All right. Final question of the podcast. I wish this podcast was longer with you.
Thanks.
Okay. So I'm a newbie to the travel industry and I just started my business. I'm getting very close to choosing a host. Exciting, Shelley. And I'm super excited to get started. I have a question about marketing on Facebook. Is it more beneficial to have a company page or a group or both? I know the Facebook algorithms can be wonky, so I want to make sure I'm reaching a wide audience.
Well, I can say that you're definitely going to need a page because most things that you want to connect to are going to require a page. For example, Travel Leaders has a social share program, and you have to have a page set up to get involved in that, and then they post on your behalf. I know that there's a lot of different programs out there that do the same, and they won't do that to your personal page, so you have to have a business page. And then as far as groups, I have agents that use groups as a way to communicate with their clients and get people in specials, maybe to talk about different things. I wouldn't see that as much as for advertising as for communication with your clients.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as Facebook advertising goes, this is always a challenge. I think new agents, I just spoke to one of my newer agents recently, and she was really frustrated because she said, I've been putting all this stuff out on Facebook, and I ask people if they've seen it, and they say no. And I'm like, well, look at what do we see when you open up your thing. You're seeing things that you're like, why am I even seeing this? This doesn't pertain to me. So it's not necessarily going to get to who you want it to. So it needs to be part of your advertising tool. Have a Facebook page, but realize that it's not going to be one of those kind of like a website. People used to believe that if you built a website that people would just start showing up to it. It's the same thing with Facebook now, is you need to have it, but don't assume that everyone's going to see it and come to it unless you're pointing them there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a saying, right? So to give you an idea, Shelley, kind of what we do at HAR is we have our company page. I totally agree with you, Jen, that you have to have a company page. That kind of goes without saying. I would, especially if Travel Leaders has that program, which is a wonderful program. Mm-hmm. Company page is a necessity. We have a couple groups. They're closed groups, though. They're for very specific purposes, right? So like for our 7-day setup course, we have, that's part of what you're paying for, is to be a part of this community of newer advisors that speaks within this Facebook group, that, asks questions to us as well. Like they have access to our team, but that they're for a very, very specific purpose. Yeah. And we will actually pick and choose what we share on our company page versus advertising, if you will, what we would actually advertise within our groups, because our groups, again, are there for a specific purpose. So advertising, if you will, typically would go on our company page, right? So like when we're talking about Host Week or this week's Friday 15, things like that, we don't typically put those in our groups, but those would go on our company page. And the thing is, when we put them, you have to think of it, it's a different style of how you post what you post. If you want to get people in that don't know your business and who you are, right? You really have to understand the SEO, the AEO, like what goes behind that, so that you are driving interest from, potentially new leads. So, but yeah, I'm of the page, not so much the groups, unless you have a purpose behind it.
Yeah. I think that Facebook it's got so much on it. It used to be that it wasn't as busy as it is now. So I think agents really struggle with that. They think that, well, I put it out on Facebook, didn't anyone see it? And they're like, well,
yeah. Also, if your clientele uses Facebook, right? Certain generations use it heavily, some don't. I go on Facebook purely for host agency reviews, and that is it.
Yeah.
I don't use it at all. I don't even think I have the app on my phone, to be honest. I do now because of her, but yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But
I think
that's me. So,
and I think that's more common because people even don't feel like they're going to get. I think having a Facebook page is just another way for people to research you and look into things. So, like your website, everything is just tied to your brand. So you just want it to be a resource for people. For one, just to make sure that you still exist, that you're a legitimate business. They'll do searches, but are they going to find you out of the blue because of your Facebook page? No, they just aren't, because there's just so much out there.
yeah.
So it has to be part of your plan.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, before I let you go, I'm going to link the two most important links in the comments, which is Dugan's Travel's profile on Host Agency Reviews. I'm also going to put the link in there for everyone if you want to go check them out, their direct link. Please go say hi to the team, check them out, ask questions if you have anything else you want to ask Jennifer. I'm about to tell you that she will be back in a few weeks.
Yep.
But you can ask them questions directly in their profile. They are always quick to the punch to respond. We do have a great schedule coming up the next 4 weeks. Next week, to end out the month, we will have Gifted Travel Network here with us. To open up March, we have Fora Travel on March 6th. On March 13th, another Friday the 13th, Jennifer is going to grace us with her presence again, which makes me so happy. And March 20th, we have Just Adventure. So the next 4 weeks are going to be a ton of fun. As a final reminder, please, if you have any questions for anyone coming up or just in general that you would love to ask these host agencies, they love your questions, and so do we. Please submit them at hostagencyreviews.com/Friday15. If you can't find that for whatever reason, you can email hello@hostagencyreviews.com, and we will be happy to submit the questions on your behalf. Jennifer, always such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'll see you in a few weeks.
Yes.
All right. Have a good one, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye.